Hey, we're back. Bill Bunkley here. I want to jump right into the next segment. It's one of our shorter segments, but hey, you know what? A lot of stuff's going on in Congress these days, and I want to tell you that one of our congressmen from the 15th District is here. And by the way, I have recommended this congressman for the August 18th primary. Of course, we're talking about Ross Spano. And his district, the 15th, really stretches from Lakeland over to northeast suburbs of Tampa. He is a Republican, was first elected to Congress just in 2018. Joins us this afternoon. Congressman, good to have you back.
Hey, Bill, it's so good to be with you and your listeners. Thank you for having me today.
All right, as I said, I've recommended you for the primary, but let's jump right on into a couple of questions here. Yesterday, what a zoo. What an absolute waste of time to have Attorney General Barr in. Talk about that.
Yeah, it sure was. I mean, if you know, in your oversight capacity, you'd like to think that the idea is to try and get some information, but it seems like the Democrats on this committee didn't want any information. They didn't really want Attorney General Barr's testimony or anything he had to say. They talked over him, refused to hear him out, and so it really was a tragic demonstration of politics at its worst.
Very, very typical. Let's go on to another topic, and the tech titans have been up on the Hill today for the subcommittee on antitrust. Democrats are concerned about them getting too big. But I tell you what, Republicans doing a real good job of questioning all this censorship, all this deciding whose political speech is okay or not, and, of course, all of the Christian discrimination that's going on, not only on organizations, people, but books. Talk about today's hearing and your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, I think, is just as alarmed, disgusted, confused in many ways by what's going on with these tech companies. And some people may not know, but these tech companies have liability protection from suit. And so they've always gotten away with that by saying their justification is that, hey, we're just, in a sense, a bulletin board. We just allow people to come up on the bulletin board and post things. And so you shouldn't hold us responsible for anything that's said up there. But the problem is that now they are engaging in the prohibition of certain types of speech. And so I think, and the president has proposed, in fact, that we withdraw, the FCC begin to look at whether or not these companies should continue to have this liability protection. They certainly have engaged. They certainly have gotten political, and you shouldn't have that protection if you're going to be engaged in politics. It's clear where they stand. They're liberal in their ownership and folks that manage these sites. And in fact, believe it or not, one of the appropriations bills that we're considering over the next couple of days here would actually prevent the president from engaging in pushing forward this rule that would have the FCC look at these removal of these liability protections. And so this is just one small example and symptom of the war that's waging in Washington and across the country for the heart and soul of our nation. And I hope your listeners are paying attention.
Ross Spano, I know you're watching this very closely as you represent District of 15th from Florida District 15th into Congress. Well, we got a $1 trillion Republican plan. We've got about a $3.5–4 trillion Democrat plan for round whatever of stimulus. Where are you at, and what do you see happening on the short term?
Yeah, you know what? I was expecting for there to be an agreement on this bill shortly, certainly by the end of this week, and there was word that we were going to come back and vote on it next week. Now I'm hearing that we're kind of at log jam, and so who knows whether there's going to be a bill. We're way apart. The Democrats, as you said, are at $3 trillion, and they've got stuff in here that has nothing to do with the coronavirus. We're talking Green New Deal stuff. We're talking about social policy issues. And of course, the Republicans in the Senate who are driving that bill are trying to keep it related to coronavirus relief. But we'll see whether or not the Democrats will come toward the Republican position in the Senate. I know that there are some things that probably need to be addressed, but if your listeners are like me, they're still a little bit uncomfortable with spending another $1, $2, or $3 trillion. But we'll see where we go from here. Maybe we'll get an agreement, maybe we won't. I think we'll know probably by the end of the week whether there's a chance we'll be back next week. But as you know, unemployment benefits for those that have been unemployed ended a short time ago. So those folks are looking for some assistance. Whatever the case may be, I think we've got to, I've told you before, Bill, we've got to be very circumspect, very diligent in how we look at the spending. We're $26 trillion now in debt, and that debt is not going anywhere. So we can't just think that we can just print money and solve all our problems. That's not going to address these issues.
Quick follow-up question. As people look to the next stimulus bill, they think that we're waiting on news about the big C being the coronavirus. But actually, I'm hearing reports that the big C in the Democrat bill is cannabis. Is cannabis mentioned much more than some of the other desperate needs that we need right now in that giveaway bill?
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's just one of the things, along with, I said, like the Green New Deal and other social policy types of issues that this replete. It was a socialist wish list giveaway is what it was. It was an opportunity for the Democrats to get some things they thought done and passed that they would never in ordinary circumstances get done on the Hill up here, and they figured they would take a crisis in order to get these things pushed through. Republicans are going to be standing strong. I think the president is going to be standing strong with us. Obviously, we want to make sure that anything that we do from this point forward is laser focused to address the needs of the American people as it relates to coronavirus, not an opportunity to expand the socialist wish list.
All right. Got about a minute left. Very quickly, what one or two quick issues are you working on that you'd like to mention this afternoon? Again, we got about a minute left.
Yeah, well, we've been working on some things in the district. We're certainly trying to support veterans. We were grateful that we had an opportunity to keep the single clinic, veterans and families, and also clinic on the Air Force Base open in the future. Veterans that are out there listening, hopefully they're excited about that. And we're working on getting that Lakeland VA new clinic, open as soon as possible. We will continue to do that. We're also working to try and get what we call our KEEP Act, Keep Employees Earnings Protected Act, which is a bill that would create a payroll tax holiday for a temporary period to get our economy moving again. We're hopefully we can get that in this next relief package.
All right. I want to tell you that the congressman has been busy at work. So much happening, even though gridlock is the name of the game there in the Congress. So you've been listening to the voice of Ross Spano. He is the U.S. representative in Congress from Florida's 15th Congressional District. And, of course, that's kind of from Lakeland over to northeast suburbs of Tampa. And reminding you that we're in the middle of getting ready for a primary. That date is August the 18th. Right now you got mail-in. We get into August, we'll have early voting. And, of course, Congressman Spano is on that docket, and I am recommending him for re-election. Congressman, good to have you with us this afternoon. Wish we had a little more time, but, hey, we got a lot in, and thank you for your service to the nation.